The skies turned orange before the end began, not from the sun, but from the fire of betrayal. It started with a whisper in Earth's orbit, a fleet cloaked in shadow, hovering in low silence, watching, studying, waiting. Humanity never saw them coming, not until it was far too late. They arrived not as conquerors but as scientists, or so they claimed. The Council of Olenvar, a coalition of ancient alien empires, had decreed Earth a biological anomaly, too chaotic to be left unchecked. Their decision? A quiet extermination. They laced Earth's upper atmosphere with an aerosol compound, undetectable, untraceable, a molecular cocktail engineered to mimic human-made pollutants. Slowly, insidiously, the air began to change. Lungs burned. Oceans choked. Forests fell in silence. The world blamed itself. Climate collapse, industrial greed, a final bill come due. But they had no idea the true hand behind the unraveling. In the floating cities of Olenvar, the aliens watched Earth's collapse with cold satisfaction. They won't last the decade, one hissed. Their DNA isn't flexible enough. Let nature do the cleansing. But Earth has a habit of rewriting scripts meant to contain it. What the aliens didn't understand, what they could never understand, was the sheer fury of a species born in extinction's shadow. As death circled, humanity adapted. Those who couldn't breathe the air modified themselves to become something that could. Geneticists, biohackers, rogue scientists once shamed and silenced came out of the dark. They rewrote what it meant to be human. Lungs became flame filters. Cells became toxin converters. And with each generation born into poison, humanity stopped dying, and started evolving. The poison meant to kill became the forge of something new. They called themselves the Fireborn. And they remembered. By the time the Olenvar sent their extraction teams to collect biological samples from the dying world, Earth no longer resembled a dying world. Cities still burned, yes, but not with collapse. They burned with resolve. The Fireborn struck from the ash, wearing atmosphere suits made from repurposed alien alloy, wielding weapons crafted from scavenged drone wreckage and powered by energy cores ripped from crashed scout vessels. The Olenvar team didn't return. Not a single life form survived the encounter. That was the first sign something had gone terribly wrong. The second came weeks later, when the atmosphere of one of the Olenvar's outer colonies mysteriously turned caustic, its breathable air igniting upon contact with the inhabitants' respiratory systems. Internal sabotage, the Council declared. A terrorist act. But even as they said the words, their sensors detected incoming vessels, unknown configuration, heat-resistant, moving through plasma fields no other species dared enter. The Council mobilized fleets. What arrived, however, were not fleets. They were storms. Ships forged in Earth's deepest black zones, propelled by combustion engines too crude for the aliens to detect, wrapped in modified stealth tech stolen from alien wreckage. The Fireborn had not come to negotiate. They came to repay the debt. One world at a time. As alien colonies fell, the message was always the same, burned into the ruins in every known galactic language: we breathe fire now. Entire empires crumbled before the Fireborn even landed. Gas-based species perished instantly in the new Earth-designed bioviruses. Silicon-based intellects had their servers fried by electromagnetic pulses tuned to frequencies no one outside Earth's radio wave history could comprehend. Where once humanity couldn't reach beyond its moon, now they rode solar flares into deep space. Every technological limit they once faced had become fuel for their vengeance. They didn't want territory. They didn't want resources. They wanted memory. They wanted the galaxy to remember what happens when you poison a species forged in fire. The Olenvar panicked. They proposed a truce. But the humans didn't respond. Not with words. Instead, they lit the skies of the Olenvar core worlds with an aurora of weaponized oxygen, rendering the atmosphere into a chain-reactive firestorm. Cities melted. Thrones crumbled. And still the Fireborn marched. Survivors who surrendered were marked, not with scars, but with implants that let them breathe Earth's poisoned air, a reminder that their lungs now depended on what they tried to destroy. At the edge of the known galaxy, a final council convened, refugees from once mighty empires begging for answers. "What are they?" one insectoid warlord rasped. "They're not the same species anymore." An old archivist from the neutral worlds answered, her voice trembling, "They are what comes after extinction. They are what happens when survival becomes sacred." The Fireborn did not attend that meeting. They were already moving, already charting hyperspace trails to new frontiers. Not to conquer. Not to expand. But to teach. To warn. And, if necessary, to cleanse. Their final broadcast to the galaxy, transmitted in every known dialect, was simple: "We were not born to burn. You made us this way. If we must be fire, let the stars be kindling." And across the galaxy, from smoldering ruins to crumbling citadels, one truth spread faster than the flames themselves: humanity was no longer just a species. It was a consequence. But the aliens hadn't counted on one very human trait: rage transformed into resolve. Deep beneath the scorched crust of what was once Central Europe, the survivors had gathered, not as nations, but as a singular, seething will. Among them, a name was whispered like a lit match in a fuel line: Dr. Selina Rao. Once a climatologist, now a reluctant commander of Earth's most dangerous countermeasure project, Ember Protocol. She didn't seek revenge. She sought balance, karma. And karma, as it turned out, had a sense of poetic justice wrapped in a fusion reactor core. The remnants of Earth's scientific minds, military tacticians, engineers, and even hackers pooled together beneath the ruined cathedrals and broken towers. Selina stood before the vault door that had once been a geothermal testing site and now served as the forge for Earth's final retaliation. "They want a dead planet," she said, voice calm like the eye of a hurricane. "Let's show them what dead men can build." Ember Protocol wasn't just a weapon. It was a message wrapped in fire and fury. While the alien coalition believed they had rendered Earth inert, a quiet trophy to hang in their galactic hall of conquered worlds, they overlooked the one thing no data model could predict: human spite. The Ember engine fed on the very atmospheric toxins the invaders had pumped into the skies, turning them into fuel. A sick twist of irony. Earth's own death became the ammunition. Deep space satellites, long dormant, blinked awake with new code, Selina's code. From the Marianas Abyss, where robotic submarines were repurposed into launch stations, to the shattered peaks of the Andes where old observatories became tracking hubs, the humans launched their fire not outward, but upward. In orbit, the alien flagships lounged arrogantly, their tendrils sucking remnants of Earth's magnetic energy, draining her like parasites in velvet cloaks. Their arrogance cracked first, not their hulls. Because they didn't detect the fleet until it was already among them. Ember-class stealth crafts rose like phoenixes from atmospheric ash, cloaked by solar refraction and programmed to emit alien ID signatures. By the time the first alien captain noticed irregularity in thermal patterns, 3 dreadnoughts had already been breached, not blasted, but hacked, their systems flipped, their AI overwritten by Earth's dirtiest code, rage-born logic. The ships didn't explode. They turned, mid-formation, on their own kind. The alien command council panicked, not because of firepower, but because of the sheer impossibility of it. They were finished, they kept repeating in disbelief. Their air was poison. Their ground was glass. They had no resources left. But they underestimated humanity's final weapon, desperation harnessed by intellect. Earth had nothing left to lose. And when a species has nothing left to lose, it becomes ungovernable. The Ember fleet didn't come to negotiate. It came to remind the stars that no matter how evolved your DNA strands are, no matter how many dimensions your quantum cores span, you never corner a species that learned war by burning itself for 1,000 years. Selina herself piloted the lead craft, codenamed Ashes. Her cockpit was a welded mosaic of salvage tech, her HUD patched together by teenagers in bunkers. Every kill cam streamed directly to the underground network still holding on, feeding the human resistance below with hope measured in explosions. The alien flagship, Orzith Primaris, was the size of Manhattan and wrapped in shield layers that took planetary nukes to dent. Selena didn't aim to dent it. She aimed to infect it. The Ember fleet's payload wasn't traditional firepower. It was retribution coded in silicon, a digital virus that used the aliens' own surveillance infrastructure as an entry point. Within hours, their star maps turned to static, their engines roared out of sync, and their language cores began spewing Earth memes from 2 decades ago. The galactic press called it the burning backlash. But humans didn't care for names. They only cared that the skies above Earth now burned with blue fires not from stars, but from the plasma guts of ships that thought themselves immortal. When Selena landed the ashes on the smoking remains of Orzith Primaris, she stepped out not in armor, but in an old atmospheric suit patched with duct tape and desperation. She walked the alien bridge with no translator. She didn't need one. The terror in their 4 eyes told her everything. "You wanted to change our world," she whispered, standing above their dying commander. "You did. You made it cruel enough to birth us anew." Across the galaxy, alien empires went silent. A species they'd written off as a brief candle had become a forest fire. Ember Protocol wasn't just a retaliation, it was a rebirth. Earth's atmosphere remained poisoned, but now, it was also weaponized. Ember-class storms powered the rebuilt cities floating above the clouds. Children learned history not from books, but from veterans who carved victories into titanium walls with plasma knives. Human DNA began adapting, subtly, to the new atmospheric cocktail. Some glowed faintly in the dark. Others could withstand radiation levels that melted alien flesh. It was evolution by combustion. The Galactic Council debated endlessly. Was Earth still salvageable? Was humanity a threat or an anomaly? But while they argued in clean halls and polished robes, Earth sent its emissaries, not in suits, but in smoke. The first diplomatic envoy to leave post-war Earth arrived not with banners, but with fragments of alien metal shaped into crowns. "We don't want seats at your table," Selena told them. "We want the table turned to ash and rebuilt with steel." The galaxy watched as Earth, once an ember, now roared like a star out of time. They had poisoned the planet, thinking it would kill the humans. Instead, they distilled them. Refined them. The species they thought they had broken was now breathing fire. And soon, the stars would feel the heat.